Welcome. My name is Commander David Skanchy with the Division of Lifecycle API, here on behalf of the Office of Policy for Pharmaceutical Quality in OPQ. I'm joined today by Vathsala Selvam, also with the Division of Lifecycle API. In this webinar, we will be discussing and demonstrating the new Form 3938 for use with Drug Master File submissions. This webinar will be presented in 3 parts. First, we will go through some basic acronyms and definitions, followed by some introductory information about the purpose and use of the Form 3938. Vathsala will then take you on a detailed walkthrough of the form to demonstrate its features and functionality, and finally present some frequently asked questions to provide some additional clarity on the form's use. Some of the common acronyms that you will see throughout this webinar are DMF for Drug Master File, eCTD for ESG for Electronic Submission Gateway, eCTD for Electronic Common Technical Document, LOA for Letter of Authorization, and REMS for Risk Evaluation and Mitigation Strategy. Some of the terms and definitions that will appear throughout this presentation are Type 2 DMF. This is a DMF that contains information related to a drug substance intermediate, and material used in their preparation, or a drug product intermediate material. Type 3 DMFs contain information related to packaging material components. Type 4 DMFs contain information related to excipients, colorants, flavors, essences, or material used in their preparation. Type 5 DMFs contain FDA-accepted reference information, and they include REMS. The responsible official is an employee at a company who has signatory authority to sign company documents. The purpose of the new Form 3938 is to provide a standardized fillable electronic form for Drug Master File submissions. This is analogous to the long-used 356H form for application submissions. The form will allow for automated pull of DMF information into FDA databases and capture relevant DMF submission information submitted using the Electronic Common Technical Document format. This will help increase the accuracy and efficiency in the capture of information on your DMF submissions when they are received and processed by FDA. When should Form 3938 be used? The form should accompany all DMF submissions in eCTD format. Paper submissions are no longer accepted for DMF types 2, 4, and 5. It is still acceptable to submit type 3 DMF submissions in paper format. And you can use the NextGen portal for this. Who should use Form 3938? The DMF holder, the U.S. agent, and third-party contractors involved in the preparation of DMF submissions. When will the form be available for use? At the time of this recording, the form is currently in the approval process at FDA and Office of Management and Budget. We hope to have the form available for general use with DMF submissions sometime in 2021. Please stay tuned for information on a release timeframe.
Thank you, David. Hello, my name is Vathsala Selvam. Let us go through the DMF form 3938 field by field. Marked data is entered in the field for presentation purpose. Field 1 through 4 is the date of submission and the basic information about the DMF. Field 1, date of submission. You will enter the date of submission in this field. You can either choose the down arrow to fill in the date or enter the date manually. If entering manually, follow the date format as month and day in 2 digits and the year in 4 digits. If the date is December 20th, 2020, it should be entered as December 20, 2020. Or if the date is January 2nd, 2021, it should be entered as 01/02/2021. Field 2. You will enter 6-digit DMF number in this field. If the existing DMF number is 4 digits, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, need to add leading zeros to the left to make 6 digits. Field 3, DMF subject. Here you'll enter the official subject, otherwise called as title of the drug master file. For DMF that have already been submitted to the agency, please ensure the subject entered here is consistent with the official subject for your DMF. For an original new drug master file, please ensure that the subject you enter here is exactly how you wanted it to appear in public databases, such as the quarterly DMF list available for reference list. Field 4, DMF type. Here you will select one applicable DMF type from the list. Type 2 is selected in this case as an example. Field 5, DMF holder information. You will enter DMF holder name, DUNS number, unique numeric identifier to a single business entity, holder DUNS number, holder address, contact person name, email address, telephone number, and fax number in this section. If you do not have a DUNS number, enter 99. Do not leave this field blank. If fax number is not available, please enter none or not available. Do not leave this field blank. You will get an error message when ready to sign the form. For non-US companies, please include the country code for telephone number and fax number. Field 6, DMF agent information. Although appointing an agent is not required for a DMF, the agency strongly encourages drug master files submitted by non-US holders to appoint an agent. If an agent is not appointed for a DMF, skip this field and go to the next field 7. Do not enter none or not available in the DMF agent name field. You will get an error message when ready to sign the form. If you do have an agent appointed, you will enter agent company name, address, contact person name, email address, telephone number, and fax number in this section. If fax number is not available, please enter none or not available. Do not leave this field blank. For non-US companies, please include the country code for telephone number and fax number. Field 7 and 8 is submission types and applicable amendment types. Field 7, submission type. Appropriate submission type must be selected in field 7. You can select more than one submission type for certain category, but not for all types. You would select submission type original new when filing for a new DMF. To notify any addition, change, or deletion of information in the DMF, you would select combination of submission types except original new. We will go through a couple of scenarios. Scenario 1. If you select original and then select quality amendment, the field original gets deselected. You won't see X in this field. The only pairing with the submission type original would be letter of authorization. Please notice that both the fields are selected. Scenario 2. An amendment can be paired with multiple submission types. If you want to notify change of subject, title, formulation information, and also submit a letter of authorization together in one submission, you would select Administrative Amendment, Letter of Authorization, and a Quality Amendment. If the document you are submitting does not fall under any of the submission types listed here, you would select Other and type the information accordingly. Field 8. Amendment types. Certain amendment types are enabled for you to select based on the submission type selected in Field 7. We will go through few scenarios here. Scenario 1. If submission type original new is selected in Field 7, none of the amendment types are enabled for you to select in Field 8. Notice in Field 8 that none of the boxes are highlighted in blue. Scenario 2. If submission type Administrative Amendment is selected in Field 7, the only possible amendment types that are enabled for you to select in Field 8 are highlighted in blue. Change of agent, address, contact person, change of holder, address, contact person, change of DMF subject, change of DMF type, and agent appointment. These are changes to a DMF that are administrative in nature. If you want to notify change of holder company address and also submit agent appointment letter together in one submission, you would select submission type Administrative Amendment in Field 7 and amendment type change of holder address contact person and agent appointment in Field 8. Scenario 3. If submission type Quality Amendment is selected in Field 7, the only possible amendment types that are enabled for you to select in Field 8 are highlighted in blue. Controls information, facility information, formulation, manufacturer, microbiology, new item, packaging information, and stability information. These are changes to a DMF that are related to quality, technical information. For presentation purpose, submission type Quality Amendment is selected in Field 7 and amendment types Controls Information and Stability Information are selected in Field 8. Scenario 4. If you want to notify change of subject and also submit information on packaging together in one submission, you would select submission type Administrative Amendment and Quality Amendment in Field 7 and amendment types change of DMF subject and packaging information in Field 8. Please note that both Administrative Amendment and Quality Amendment are submitted together in this example. Same kind of scenarios applies for other amendment types in Field 8 based on the submission type selected in Field 7. Field 9. Establishment information. In this section, you will enter information related to the establishment at which the subject of the DMF is manufactured or tested. If this section does not apply to the DMF type you are submitting, for example, REMS type 5, skip this field and go to the next field 10. Do not enter none or not applicable under establishment name field. You will get an error message when ready to sign the form. For other DMF types, this section should be completed. I would like to reiterate that the data entered in the fields throughout the form is to show you as an example. Enter establishment name and address. Next, enter DUNS number. The agency would recommend that a 9-digit DUNS number be obtained in advance of submitting a DMF for all facilities where the subject of the DMF is manufactured or tested. If you do not have a DUNS number, enter 99. Do not leave this field blank. Next, enter 10-digit facility registration number, FEI number, FDA established identifier. If you do not have a FEI number, enter 10 nines. Do not leave this field blank. Next, check the box either yes or no to indicate whether the establishment is new to the DMF or not. Next, identify role of the establishment, such as manufacturing, release testing of drug substance. Next, disclose whether the facility is ready for inspection or not. If not ready, indicate when the facility will be ready for inspection. Please note the date format, month and day in 2 digits and the year in 4 digits. Next, in field 9 is to enter establishment contact person name at the site, their telephone number, fax number, and email address. If you do not have a fax number, please enter none or not available. Please note that every establishment associated with the DMF should be listed in field 9. To add additional establishments information, click on Add Establishment button on the right side. This will add additional page for you to enter additional establishments information. If inadvertently added a page and wanted to delete, click on Delete Page button. This will delete the page. Field 10, Cross-Referenced DMF. If submission's DMF is cross-referenced by other DMF, enter the DMF number, subject, and the holder name. You can enter multiple cross-reference DMF here in this section. Certification. I agree to update this drug master file as required in 21 CFR 314.420C and notify in writing each person authorized to reference that information. I agree to comply with all applicable laws and regulations that apply to drug master file. The data and information in the submission have been reviewed and to the best of my knowledge are certified to be current, true, and accurate. Warning. A willfully false statement is a criminal offense. U.S. Code, Title 18, Section 1001. Field 11 through 15. The DMF Form 3938 should be signed by the responsible official at the holder company or DMF agent. Field 11. Type the name and title of responsible official. Let's assume that the DMF agent indicated in field 6 is submitting the submission. Enter responsible official's name at the agent company and his job title. Field 12. Enter the date of signature. Please note the date format, month and day in 2 digits and the year in 4 digits. Field 13 through 15. You would enter responsible official's telephone number, fax number, and email address in the respective fields. Field 16. Address of person named in item 11. Here you would enter business address of the responsible official named in field 11. In this case, DMF agent company address would be entered. Field 17, signature field. The responsible official named in field 11 must sign this form. In our example, the agent is submitting the submission. Therefore, responsible official entered in field 11 is John Smith from the agent company who would be signing the form. The form will not allow you to electronically sign the document if any of the required fields is missed, incomplete, or not in correct format. A pop-up window will indicate the field that needs correction. An example of pop-up window is shown here in this slide. Go ahead and fill in those fields that needs correction with the correct information in order to complete the form. Finally, the form needs to be signed. click the Sign button. A box highlighted in blue pops up below the Sign button. Click on it and follow the instruction to place your signature. Now, the process of completing the DMF Form 3938 is done. Always visit FDA Forms webpage for the most up-to-date version of the form and their corresponding instruction. Next, David Skanchy will go over some frequently asked questions on Drug Master File. Thank you.
Thank you, Vathsala. Here are some frequently asked questions about Form 3938. Can a contracted company sign DMF Form 3938? No, a third-party contracted company cannot sign DMF Form 3938. Can a DMF agent sign Form 3938? Yes. Either the responsible official at the DMF holder company or the appointed DMF agent can sign DMF Form 3938. When another employee signs on behalf of the responsible official with a digital signature, does the responsible official's name still need to be identified on the signed form? It is acceptable for another employee to sign on behalf of a company's responsible official, as long as the signed form reflects the responsible official's name in Field 11. Should a fax number be entered on Form 3938 for each relevant section? A fax number should be entered on Form 3938 if available. If no fax number is available, then enter "not available" in the appropriate field of the form. If either a fax number or "not available" is not inserted in the relevant section, you will receive an error message. Must a pre-assigned DMF number be obtained in advance of submitting an original DMF in eCTD format? Yes. For more information, see Requesting a Pre-assigned DMF Number at the link below. Must a DMF holder contact FDA before applying for a pre-assigned DMF number for a Type 5 DMF? For sterile processing facilities, the DMF holder need not submit a letter of intent, but should specify in the pre-assigned DMF number request and in the original submission's cover letter that the DMF is for a sterile processing facility. For all other Type 5 submissions, the DMF holder must first submit a letter of intent to the agency. The agency will then contact the DMF holder to discuss the proposed submission. What should be included in a letter of intent for a Type 5 DMF? DMF holders should send their requests to dmfquestion@fda.hhs.gov with the following information: an explanation of the necessity for filing the information in a Type 5 DMF. If REMS, indicate the request is for a REMS DMF. The proposed subject or title of the DMF. The rationale for not submitting the information in an application. The clinical division that will be reviewing the information, if applicable. How are FEI numbers obtained for facilities that do not have an FEI number? FEI numbers can be obtained by sending a request to FDA GDUFA FEI request at fda.hhs.gov. Must I obtain a pre-assigned DMF number when I convert a paper DMF to eCTD format? No. There is no need to request a new DMF number when converting from paper to eCTD. You should continue to use the same DMF number. Note, if the existing DMF number is not 6 digits, prepend the number 0 to make it 6 digits. Can a DMF be held by multiple entities? No, only one person or entity can be the holder of a DMF. How does the agency define the DMF holder? The DMF holder is a person who owns a DMF. According to Section 201E of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, the term person includes individual, partnership, corporation, and associations. Is a DMF holder required to appoint a U.S. agent? Although there is no regulation that requires DMF holders to appoint an agent, the agency strongly recommends appointment of a U.S. agent for companies outside of the United States. Should DMF holder be the manufacturer of the subject of the DMF? If the DMF holder is not the manufacturer, the DMF holder should include a signed statement in their original submission that the DMF holder assumes full responsibility for the manufacturing of the subject of the Drug Master File. If the person identified as the establishment contact for a facility changes, is it necessary to submit Form 3938 with a revised establishment contact? Yes. An amendment should be submitted to the DMF notifying the agency of any changes to previously submitted information. What should I enter if I do not yet have an FEI number or a DUNS number? The form does require an entry in these fields to avoid an error. If an FEI DUNS number is not available, just enter 9 nines in the DUNS field or 10 nines in an FEI field. This will allow the form to be finalized. Should I still provide a cover letter with my submissions? For many simple or administrative submissions, such as an annual report or an LOA, the form may take the place of the cover letter. For more complicated or technical submissions, the cover letter and/or summary of changes should still be provided as an aid to the review staff. I am removing a facility in this amendment. Should I include it in the form? No. The form should list only the current facilities associated with the DMF. Note the facility being removed in the cover letter, summary of changes, and section 3.2.S.2.1. Please find some useful links and contact information listed here. The DMF website, the link to pre-assigned DMF number requests, the eCTD website, and the DMF questions email inbox. The next 3 slides are a fully filled out Form 3938 for your reference. This concludes our presentation. Thank you very much for your time.